Well, video games have changed dramatically over the last several decades. It is estimated that 97% of adolescents play video games, and you can see they're just so much more realistic these days. Well, some studies show that violent games literally alter parts of the brain, putting younger kids at an even higher risk of becoming violent or depressed later in life. We take a closer look tonight and get reaction from gamers of all ages in my special Mom to Mom report. We've come a long way from the very first video game called Space War in 1962 to the very popular Pac-Man in the 80s to today. Not only have video games advanced technically with face and voice recognition to amazing graphics to virtual reality, many now are also filled with profanity,
scumbag piece of
nudity, and lots of violence.
I like games that have shooting, like where you go into war and just shoot people.
When the parent would ask me, well, how many hours of video games can my kids watch? I used to ask them, how much crack would you like them to smoke?
Child psychologist Dr. Kirk Chung.
If you practice doing these type of aggressive actions, this is what you get good at.
Indiana University researchers found that after just 1 week of violent gameplay, young men showed less activation in the part of the brain that controls emotion and aggressive behavior. As you can see from the MRI scans along the bottom, the control group on top did not show such changes.
So you have a greater propensity toward violence.
Dr. Chung says this is especially a problem among millennials, who he says can live in a world where all women want you, all men fear you, and you get rewarded every 30 seconds to 5 minutes. Then
when you shut off the video game, you're thrust back into a regular world where two old stupid people tell you when to go to bed, when to clean your room. How are you feeling here?
While a number of studies show that violent video games cause violent behavior and depressive symptoms in young people, other studies show that there is just not enough evidence to support that.
Don't have a record.
Millennial Nick Macy is 31 and has been playing video games since he was 4. He looks at it as a form of entertainment. On this day, he bought newly released Mortal Kombat X.
Sometimes maybe people use video games or movies or something as a cover. Because, I mean, just speaking on me, it hasn't been a problem.
And younger gamers we talked with agree.
I know of a difference between real life and non-real life.
9-year-old Addison is a fan of Grand Theft Auto.
I mean, if you shoot someone like in the head or something, like a little blood will gush out, but then it'll stop.
If I have a problem, then it makes me forget.
Both Elijah Henderson and Addison say games like Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty are simply a release.
At least you can like get it out in a game, because like real life, like you get like mad a lot, and you should put your violence into something else instead of something like real violence, like with other people.
Dr. Chung admits just as not all children raised in violent homes will become violent, not all children who play violent video games will become violent.
I think the bigger question is this doing you any good?
But for Addison,
you should let your kids play it, but it's your opinion if you want them to or not.
Now, most researchers reject the idea that any single factor can cause an otherwise non-violent individual to become violent. But researchers with the American Academy of Pediatrics and others conclude there is a greater chance they will if other risk factors are involved. It's not clear how long lasting the changes in the brain may be, but critics on both sides of the debate say parents should monitor and limit their kids' video gaming no matter what they're playing.